What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. Excited to be here. Joined, as always, by R.J. White. You can get his picks for $1. A little Christmas present. A little toss in the stocking. $1 for the first month. Go to sportsline.com/join. Use promo code WHITE. This is RJ's time to shine. 2 weeks left in the season, down the stretch. And, of course, Pete Prisco, rapidly making up ground in the standings. What's up, Pete? RJ, how you doing?
You told me for the first time since we got on this podcast, he told me I was pale today. He did. Usually you talk about my tan. Now you tell me I'm pale.
Head games. Playing head games. You know what? I realized Ryan Wilson told me we got a Christmas mailbag that we recorded. It's like an hour and a half long. So excited for everybody who gets to download that. It's a bunch of nonsense. We talk about like who would be what Ninja Turtle, who would play what instrument in a band of like the four of us. Total nonsense, but it'll be out on Christmas. You should check it out. It'll be very entertaining. But Ryan pointed out, I think on that show, he's 5 picks behind me against the spread. I'm getting a little nervous here. Got a little sweat going on. I got to pick it up, close strong.
Oh my God. Finally, you've had a good year and you're doing nothing but bragging.
I won the years I got here.
No, you didn't. You had a bad week last week, though. A lot of bad weeks on that on our best bets last week.
Incredible.
Oh no, RJ! Oh no, I didn't realize.
RJ, what the heck happened? That's not like you.
Washington happened. That stupid cover that shouldn't have happened. It's just and then it seems like anytime I pick something that's like guaranteed at least 4 turnovers in that game, 4 stupid turnovers. I had the Bengals 4 turnovers, had the Chargers 7 turnovers, and those games were looking pretty good coming into halftime. And then one bad turnover turns into a touchdown, and it's done.
Yeah, I had the Chargers too.
Last week. Yeah, Yeah, remember you jerk stores talked me into the Chargers. RJ even flipped my picks on the site. I can't believe you did that, RJ. You should get a pick back for that one. The parlay was. No, I didn't. You did it on your own volition. Plausible deniability. I went 2-4 last week, 51-40 on the year, 56% of the picks. I mean, I'll take that all day, but I don't want to fall any further. RJ 1-6. 48% on the year. Pete Prisco 3-4, 45% on the year.
Here I come, RJ.
Yeah, you're gonna catch me at this point.
I don't know.
Parlay.
Look at that parlay. Look at that parlay. Oh. What a bunch of losers.
Well, look, I mean, the Chargers is inexcusable. They got blasted by the Vikings. But, like, that game was close until the strip sack of Phillip Rivers at the end of the first half, and then the floodgates just opened for Minnesota. Oakland, Jacksonville over that game was just crazy.
That was never happening.
That one was never happening. And then, like, all Indianapolis had to do was score 1 touchdown in the first half.
But we still would have had a loser. It was still a loser. The parlay stunk.
Yeah. Parlay was still a loser. So, yeah. Bad week, weird week. A lot of people got burnt bad. They got burnt bad with some of their some of the stuff that they had to like if you bet on the Falcons under, you got torched. Bad. They scored 10 points.
It's like those commercials when they're inside the wings place and then they push the button to get all that crazy stuff happening. It felt like Vegas had the button in their hands for every single game because they're like, which game? What do you think you're going to win this? Nope, we're going to hit the button and there we go.
And I'm going low. All right, let's get on with my best bets this week because I'm on fire. 3-4.
That qualifies.
Scorching hot, Pete Prisco.
You know it's a bad week when my 3-4 is the best that we had last week, so it's a terrible week.
Yeah. And look, the other one that sort of flew under the radar, the Titans-Texans over that I loved and was all in on. I mean, they threw 3 end zone interceptions. That's rough.
Yeah. That was it started out it would have been an over right away. They went right up and down the field and they got nothing.
Yeah. Let's dive into this week's bets though. Let's get to it. There's 3 Saturday games. And we're going to get to those first, and then we'll I think Pete has 2 best bets in there, and then we'll get to the rest of Pete's best bets, and then we'll get your sick ass out of here so you can not contaminate RJ, and you can go do Sportsline. First up, Bills at Patriots. Patriots -6.5. The over/under 30. Oh, excuse me, I skipped a game. I apologize. Rams at 49ers. 49ers -6.5. The over/under is 45.5. This is a must-win game for both teams, really. I mean, the 49ers are
– the Rams are done.
The Rams have one chance to make the playoffs. If the Vikings lose out and they play the Packers at home and the Bears at home. If the Vikings lose out and the Rams win out, the Rams are in as the 6th seed. The 49ers, it's a must win because even though they can still get win the division, they want to get that first overall seed. And if they win out, I'm pretty sure that they will get first.
They get the first overall seed. Yes.
In fact, I wrote 4,000 words about this on the site.
They're going to win this week, and they're going to win easily. I did not like what I saw from the 49ers last week. I think the defensive injuries kind of impacted them a little bit, but I really didn't like what I saw from the Rams last week. That team looked awful against the Cowboys. Now, it was one of those games where you go into a team that's got to have it, and they ambushed them kind of a little bit. I love the Rams last week. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. This week, I'm going to the other side. I'm thinking the 49ers. I think the 49ers are going to handle them in this game.
I should have put that in as best bet last week. Try to tell you,
Yeah.
Watch out. Everybody loves the Rams. San Francisco completely shut down the Rams offense in the first meeting, just 48 net yards passing. I don't think we're going to have the same type of game here, especially if D Ford can't play and they're not getting their pass rush the way they usually do. On the other side, I think Aaron Donald could have some success with the center, Richburg, out. Rams know how to bounce back from an ugly loss like the one versus Dallas. It seems like after they have these ugly games, they come back and have a good game. And San Fran's played a lot of close games lately. 6 of their last 7 have been within this score. If you throw out that late fumble touchdown against Arizona, which I didn't, it's another one of those Philly-Washington games where it was going one way and all of a sudden the team covers out of nowhere or probably pushes out of nowhere. So I would go Rams plus 6.5 as the lean, but I don't love either side of this one.
Yeah, I'm with Pete here. I don't think I'm going best bet with the 49ers, but I just think one of the things we've seen with the Rams is that, they're bad against good defenses. And Richard Sherman is off the injury report as of Thursday, so he should play. That greatly improves what the 49ers can do on defense. But more importantly, the Rams are really bad, and Jared Goff is really bad against great pass rushes. And, the Cowboys put him in a position where they got pressure on Jared Goff. They banged up his hand, which it's sort of flying under the radar as a story this week. After that hand injury, when they showed him on the sideline with that compress in between it while he's looking at his tablet, his Surface tablet or whatever, he couldn't hit anything. 51 pass attempts for 284. His accuracy went way down. It looked like he was really struggling with that hand injury, and I think that could potentially affect him here, especially if this dangerous 49ers pass rush is at full strength. They can get after Jared Goff, and I just don't know that the Rams have enough in them to really come back against it. If the 49ers can get up big early, this one's over. This is a situation where go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I just Goff looked off after the injury, and they got some garbage type stuff, but it didn't look good. This isn't a best bet for me. It's not a best bet for you in any way, shape, or form. Brinson, you putting it in?
No, I would take the 49ers in my picks.
Me too.
I think
I did too.
They're going to get pressure on Goff. And by the way, I would say too, this is a decent game where if they get up 14-0 early and you can get live minus 10.5, I would take it because I think the 49ers will run downhill on them and the Rams will sort of pack it in like they did against Dallas. Just a theory. Moving along to the Bills and Patriots. Pete Prisco's favorite team in the entire world, the Buffalo Bills. You're a bigger Bills fan than R.J. You know that?
No, I'm not. He's a giant Bills fan. I admire the team because I think Sean McDermott's building something special there, and I think he's a heck of a coach. By the way, Pat's minus 6.5. Pat's minus 6.5 at home. Over under 37.5. Just so the Bills have won there twice since 2000. Twice. It's tough to win there. It's tough to win there in December. It's going to be a tough task for them to win there, but I think they're going to do it. I think that Patriots offense, if Edelman is as banged up as people are saying he is, and it looks like he is, they're going to be even more limited on offense. That means they're going to try to run the ball. Bills have struggled against the run, I know it, but I think it's going to be problematic here. They're going to load up to stop the run. They're Brady to beat him. And on the other side, look, it's going to be tough for Josh Allen, but they're going to get creative with him. It's going to be a really low-scoring game, and I think the Bills are going to find a way to win the game. They're not going to win the division because the Patriots, aren't going to lose to Miami next week, but they're going to win the game.
Are they not? I mean, don't they typically struggle with against?
Yeah, they do.
Best bet for me under 37.5. Best bet also Bills plus 6.5. I'm with you on that. I like both of them in this game. Bills dominated that first game. That block punt changed the game, but New England offense didn't do anything, and that was when the New England offense was actually playing pretty solid. Now they haven't had that look lately with not knowing who's going to pass, catch the passes, and Edelman not playing very well. So I like that too. There was that stat too. Edelman and Brady 42-0 at home. Whatever that stat was.
The Chiefs got him,
and then the Chiefs got him. So just because the Bills have only won twice since 2000 doesn't mean they can't win here. So So I wouldn't mind sprinkling a little bit on the money line here. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. The line seems a little high to me because of that. Pat's offense wasn't impressive versus the Bengals. I know they won 38 to whatever, but they had less than 300 yards in that game. It's the fourth time in their last 5 where they've had less than 300 yards, and these are the top 2 scoring defenses in the league. So you got to love the under. There's probably 36.5 where people are looking at it, and I don't like crossing that 37 because the game could be tied late and get that overtime field goal, and it goes to 37 exactly. But if you can get under 37.5, I like it. This is also a total I would like teasing up as well because
so you like the Bills.
Love the Bills, love the under.
Love the Bills. I like the under. Brinson?
Love the under here. If you look at the Patriots since the start of 2017 as a home favorite of less than a touchdown or of less than a touchdown, the under is 9-1. So that's a great spot. These are both very good defenses. There's no reason to think there should be a ton of offense in this game. I think I had the Pats in my picks initially. And I mean, look, here's the thing. I want to point out how since 2016, the Patriots, because I think I pointed this out early in the year, that since 2016, the Patriots are like, 12-2 against the number as a favorite of a touchdown or less. Except here's the problem. They're 1-2 as a favorite of a touchdown or less at home in 2019. And that's really concerning. I mean, this is a Bills team that I don't think is dangerous on offense as the Cowboys or the Chiefs. And I know that Cowboys game was 5.5 and it was a weird rain game. But man, I mean, if the Bills can get a lead, the Patriots just aren't good at coming back. And you can't come back against the Bills because their pass defense is so good. So yeah, I would, I'm sort of kind of going the other way. And I think I would take the Bills as well.
So should we put the Bills in? Should we put the Bills in the parlay or the under in the parlay?
I'd rather put the under. The under is one of my best bets, so I'd rather put the under
Let's
put the under. I'll put the under in. I like the under too.
Under 37.5. I saw
when they played the Chiefs a couple weeks ago in New England, that was an under, right? That game went under, if I remember. Yeah.
That's the only time it's gone over since the beginning of 2017 was the Chiefs game last year, 43-40, and that was actually a low-scoring game with a over/under of 59.5 that went over with 2 touchdowns late. So these games at home against the Patriots tend to go under. So I like that a lot. When it came out at 38.5 on Sunday, I got it right away. All right. Texans -3 at the Buccaneers, over under 49.5. This over under opened at 53, Pete. It has come down to 49.5. And the reason why is that Tampa is expected to get tons of bad weather throughout the weekend. Tons of like lightning and thunderstorms on Sunday, but just 16-mile-an-hour winds on Saturday. Oh, no, by the way, no Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans. You don't care. You're a Brashad Perryman man. You love Central Florida. You're a Florida man. You are all in on Jameis Winston, all in on Bruce Arians, all in on Brashad Perryman, that weird little bald dread thing he's got going on.
Who is playing better right now, Jameis Winston or Deshaun Watson?
Right? Deshaun Watson?
Is he?
I was going to make that same thing with Josh Allen versus Tom Brady.
Who's playing better?
Who's playing better? I would take Winston right now.
He's playing better. Of course he is.
In the moment, yes.
Yes. He's not a better quarterback, but right now he's playing better. Over 450 yards the last 2 weeks. I mean, that's incredible. He throws too many interceptions, but the defense puts him in that situation. Drew Lock threw all over this defense a couple weeks ago. Even without Evans, even without Godwin, I think they're going to throw the football and throw it well. I like this game because I think the Bucs win the game, and I also like the game because I think it's going over the total. Even with the weather, I still think it's going over the total, but my best bet is to the Bucs and Jameis Winston. The defense is playing much better now, too.
I agree. I also have best bet, Bucs +3. Look ahead was a pick 'em. I don't think Godwin moves the line 3 points. I don't think any receivers move a line 3 points. Underdog is 11-3 in Texans games this season. Texans are only 1-5 as a favorite against the spread. We know Tampa Bay D is great against the run. You're right. They are playing better against the pass too. They now rank 15th in DVOA versus the pass and 11th in DVOA overall. So you look at the Bucs, you wouldn't think top 12 defense, but that's what they've been.
They're playing much better.
So. Houston D struggles against the pass. You talked about Drew Lock. I think Winston can have success despite the injuries, despite people not all being there, they could still throw to the tight ends. They can get it going. And DVOA loves Tampa Bay and hates Houston. There's like a 14 or 16-point gap in weighted DVOA between the two. And you would think, oh, that means Houston is 16. No, it's actually Tampa's the better team, it says. So in Tampa at home, they say if you use my DVOA metric, the line should be like Tampa -6, which is kind of ridiculous. But +3 got to be value on Tampa. So I'm best bet.
I love it. Love it.
I like Houston in the spot, but not enough to make him a best bet. I just think they're going to get it done. I don't know. Just think they'll get it done.
They win the division. If they win, they win the division.
Exactly. But on the other hand, Jameis Winston, he's not worried about winning the division. He's worried about getting this fat new contract that he's about to get handed. Of course, you see Houston.
He's going to get a bridge. He's going to get a bridge contract, Brinson. He's going to get the Nick Foles deal. That's what he's going to get.
He might get more than that, Pete. RJ, what are we talking about?
In that ballpark, 3 years, maybe a little bit more, 25 million or 26 million, something like that.
The Kirk Cousins, 3 years, 84.
I don't think maybe. Not guaranteed. Not all guaranteed.
The way he's played, if you're keeping him in Tampa with Bruce Arians, I would give him that.
And usually, quarterback in Bruce Arians' system, the second year is much better.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
by the way,
I'd keep him. I would keep him.
265, 272, 262, 291. You know what those are?
Those are my bowling scores the last 4 times I went out.
You're lying, Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell's bowling scores. No, those are Jameis Winston's yards per game, passing yards per game by month splits for his career. 291 in December. This guy knows how to make a December push down the stretch. And look, Houston's pass defense is bad. If the weather doesn't materialize in this, I wanted to make the over a best bet, but the winds are so high that I was a little worried about it. It's dropped. It kind of scares me. If the weather doesn't materialize and like the weather's not bad on Saturday, this line will shoot up leading to kickoff. So be prepared to jump on the over if the weather looks good in Tampa. These two teams will score. They will just score.
If the weather's like it was here today, he won't be scoring in that wind. It was windy as heck here. It's supposed to be that way all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm doing.
That's Brinson, the weather man. Love it. Got any weather for South Florida coming up this weekend, Will? I mean, you're the weather guy.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me check. Yep. It's going to be sad and salty with your tears as you put up with 1 and 6.
He mushed me. Ooh. He went all in on me.
He had been keeping an eye on the weather down here for this weekend for months because he thought he was going to have to come down here and cover Dolphins-Bengals.
Yeah. Hey. Great game. They're giving away tickets all over town. Anywhere you want them, you can find them.
No, they wanted a live podcast from Sun Life Stadium ahead of 14 and 0 and 14 game. They wanted to bring us all down and have me walking around doing social media stuff. Why don't we just talk about that game while we're here? Cincinnati, because Pete's got it on the list. Bengals at the Dolphins. The over/under is 40. Wow, we all have a best bet in this game. What the hell? The over/under is 47. I mean, look, I'm going to be watching this game. I will have it on a TV because I'm kind of entertained by the idea of, two terrible teams playing a football game like this. And I think the teams are kind of frisky. Could this be a high-scoring game, Pete?
Yes. I just hope the weather's not bad on Sunday, but I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game. The Dolphins are terrible on defense. We saw that again last week against the Giants. Eli Manning was back throwing it all over the place, and Barkley looked good. Joe Mixon's been running the ball really well. The Bengals aren't good on defense, even though they've gotten a little bit better. Fitzpatrick at home can throw the football around. I think this game, provided the weather's okay, is going to go way over this number.
My best bet's Bengals +1. I've been on the Bengals several times.
Yes, you have.
It seems stupid with that
Bobby Bengal you
record,
are.
But they were covering. They were losing and covering. So I mean, it was been catching more often than not. I think they actually have been playing well when they don't turn the ball over. They outgained their opponents in each of the last 3 games in terms of yardage. You're right. The rush offense has come on strong with Mixon, 343 yards versus Cleveland and New England in the last 2 games. Cleveland, I mean, a lot of teams can run up on Cleveland, but New England's a good defense, and they ran all over them. Miami's pass D is historically awful. Dalton can have success there. Cincy's D is playing better to me. I don't blame them for that New England loss. It was those stupid turnovers. They rank 3rd in red zone percentage, which I think I bring up every week, their red zone thing, but that means turning possible touchdowns into field goals. So if Dolphins are scoring field goals and Bengals are throwing it over the top and scoring touchdowns, they should win this game. Cincy doesn't have to worry about losing the number 1 pick in this game. They have a 2-game buffer, so they lose this one. They can come back and just not play hard in the second game, week 17, and still get the number 1 pick and get Joe Burrow. So go all out, get the win for the coach, get everybody that wants to come back next year, show them what you got, and then take next week off. I'm
with you, RJ. I got the Bengals too. Since week 10, 4 players in the NFL have recorded more than 700 scrimmage yards. Christian McCaffrey has the most. Joe Mixon's number 2. Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb are the other 2. Joe Mixon's playing really well. Like, Bill Belichick called him maybe the best running back in football, which is pretty good praise. And I just think that when you look at these teams, I get that they're both bad, and I get that public perception will probably have people taking the home team basically as a pick-em with 2 more wins against a Bengals team that just nobody wants to pick on, nobody wants to bet on. The Bengals, as good as they've looked over the last few weeks, got blown out by the Patriots. I mean, the end score was a disaster, but anybody who watched the game knows that it was a lot closer at halftime. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is a human turnover. He's willing to chuck it up and make some mistakes. Andy Dalton a little more conservative. I think they'll be a lot more effective in the ground game. The Giants hung 29 points in the second half on the Dolphins. This is a team that has given a really good effort and has played strong, but I would look, especially if this game is close at halftime, I would look to take the Bengals in the second half. I think they could run away with it. I think Miami just kind of runs out of gas, and I will absolutely take the Bengals getting a point or a pick 'em or whatever it is as one of my best bets. Pete, do you want to add the Bengals to the parlay?
No, I don't. Okay. I do not.
Boo.
Yeah, boo.
I would take the over, honestly, but I mean, we can move on. You like the over, RJ?
Not particularly.
Okay, so then we don't have a parlay pick here.
That's fine.
We're saving people from our parlay.
We're saving people. Anybody who wants to put their own parlay and take Bengals in the over.
No, people are itching to max bet.
I mean, Miami in the under.
Right.
Parlay.
Take Miami in the under. You'll win your parlay.
There's like on Sports Insights, they're like steam alerts or whatever. Like a steam alert, just like it's a Friday morning, a steam alert on Bills over.
Yeah. As soon as we give out our parlay, it steams the other way.
Exactly. Cowboys at the Eagles. Cowboys -2.5. The over/under is 46.5. Pete, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you with Dak Prescott's shoulder injury that's kept him out of practice this week?
Yeah, it's concerning. Anytime you have a quarterback who has a shoulder injury, it's always concerning. But he's going to play, and when he plays, you got to figure he's going to be able to make all the throws if he's in the game. But I like the Eagles even before we found out about Dak Prescott's shoulder. I think this is a great spot for the Eagles at home. They'll turn their pass rushers loose on the Cowboys. The Eagles have been banged up all year. I know it. And they played Seattle a couple weeks ago, and they were banged up as they've ever been, and they competed in that game. If they had the one run that was a pop run, otherwise they were right there. Wentz didn't play well that day. I think he plays well here. I think the Eagles win the game outright.
I know that there's one clear side I should be taking in this game. I just go back and forth about which one it is. At 2.5, I wouldn't take the Cowboys because I think there are 1.5s out there. I believe Westgate has it as a pick 'em right now. I kind of want to go the Cowboys, though. It's hard for me to love either team. The Eagles should be 0-5 against the spread in their last 5, except for that phantom cover last week. They're the team that's struggling more. Dak's health is obviously an issue, but so is the health of the Eagles offense. Who are they throwing to? I think Arcega-Whiteside is now on the injury report. He missed practice on Thursday as we were recording this. So, I mean, who's going to catch the Vinny Papali's going to catch the ball there or something? Cowboys look like the more talented team right now. Can you trust the coaching? Of course you can't.
No.
But Dallas is 14-2 against the spread and straight up in the division since the start of 2017. That includes a 12-1 run. In the last 13, I would lean that way. Garrett knows how to play these teams in this division, so I would just go ahead and go with the Cowboys. Try to get it as low as you can. Hopefully, you can get it as a pick, but I think they probably win the game.
Greg Ward, baby.
Just a lean though.
Greg Ward.
He helped me win DFS last week.
Yeah. You know what he's going to do this week? They're going to throw him a pass, and he's going to throw a pass. He's going to throw
I just won the one, with 7 or 8 of us from work, $150, $200, whatever.
Hey, Brinson, Greg Ward's going to throw a touchdown pass this week for the Eagles. How about that?
I love that call. Can you bet on that prop?
I don't know.
That's a great call.
Get creative. They're going to throw a touchdown pass.
That's 25-1. It's actually might be higher than that, like 50-1.
The problem is, I mean, obviously, ex-quarterback, it's a great call, but who's he going to throw it to?
Ertz.
It has to be Ertz.
Ertz. Goddard.
Oh, my God. That's
Miles
Nick
Sanders?
Foles' music. I got the Eagles too, Pete. And here's my thing. I think that, as everybody points out, it's a coaching mismatch. I mean, Doug Peterson's better than Jason Garrett. Nobody's going to try and argue that. I get that Jason Garrett's been good in the division. However, to me, there's a very clear issue with the Cowboys' game plan here. You have to be able to throw the ball against the Eagles' secondary to beat them. You can't run against the Eagles very effectively. And I think that the Eagles are going to know that the Cowboys want to come in and run the ball because Dak is banged up. And if Dak, I think this Dak thing is a bigger deal than they're making out to be. And I get that he's never been limited, and maybe they downplayed injuries before the first matchup. Maybe he'll be completely fine. An AC joint is a problem. Like, you're not going to get maximum velocity. You're not going to get, your accuracy is going to be off. You're going to be, trying to overcompensate in different areas. It's a problem. And I just think that the Eagles are going to find a way to win this game. It also hurts that I believe Sean Lee's on the injury report after that game. He had the interception against the Rams. Leighton Vander Esch, they're worried about his career at this point, it sounds like. That linebacker core is badly banged up, and the Eagles' strength in the passing game is with their tight ends. So they can put 2 tight ends out there, and they can just attack the linebackers, attack backup linebackers, feed Goddard, feed Ertz, try to get some run game going, use Carson on the bootlegs, and maybe have Greg Ward throw a touchdown pass to Wentz or something like that. Doug Peterson, this is a kitchen sink game. Everything's on the line. If the Eagles lose this game, they are eliminated from the playoffs. The Cowboys can still win. They can, right? Can't the Cowboys still get in?
Yeah, if the Cowboys lose and the Eagles lose next week and then they win. So the Eagles would have to lose to the Giants. Can you imagine if the Eagles won this game at home and then lost to the Giants?
I can definitely imagine that.
Yeah. It'd be Eagles fans can't imagine.
This division. And are we sure the Redskins are eliminated in this division?
And by the way, whichever team wins the division is going to win a playoff game. How about that?
So just imagine this, though, that the Eagles could beat the Cowboys this week, and then Eli Manning could come back for one more start against the Eagles and knock them out of the playoffs.
He wouldn't, though, unless Jones.
Unless Jones was hurt, they're not going to put him back in.
Dak Prescott said, what did he say? He said he's going to play. Is that right? He said,
yes,
I'll be to go on Sunday. Is his exact quote. So if you like the Eagles, if you like the Cowboys,
every player always thinks he's playing.
Well, he's probably going to play.
I think he's going to
matter
play
how
too,
effective he's going to be.
I wouldn't put any stock into what a player says. Players always think they're playing.
By the way, so you think that the Cowboys or the Eagles will beat the Seahawks or the 49ers in the playoffs?
Yes, I do.
Interesting.
I do.
Well, if it's the Cowboys, we know they'll have the coaching edge in that matchup.
No, they don't have the coaching edge over anybody. we could put a dummy on the other sideline and have the coaching edge.
Put Jerry Jones on the other side. I got the Eagles as the best bet. I'm with Pete. RJ doesn't sound like you want to join in.
No, he's not in on that.
No, I would lean the other way, but I don't love. I go back and forth with that. I love both sides simultaneously, so I just kind of make it a stay away and lean very slightly to the Cowboys.
I took the Cowboys out of my best bets last week at the last second.
I should have put him in there.
Packers. Yeah. By the way, your man called the Jaguars winning in Oakland. How about that, huh? How about that?
You called that?
I told you this on the podcast. I said it was stinky and something was going to happen.
Oh, we said it was going to. I don't remember him saying they were going to win, though.
I picked him on the site. I picked the Jaguars to win outright.
All right. We'll give you credit. Does anybody brag more about his picks, the right picks that he gets, than you? Seriously.
Nope.
You've gotten out of control. You've gotten out of control with it.
Out of control?
You know what that means? You know what that means? It's going to be rotten.
We just mush off.
You told me I'm going to be 1-6 already in this podcast. He said I was going to be 1-6.
The only way this is going to end is with Brinson going like 0-12 on his best bets.
Wouldn't that be
and
fun?
Then like Prisco winning between three of us like a 47%.
No, what if I go 12-0 and he goes 0-12?
Well, you're not going 12-0.
No, I don't think I am either. Yeah, I haven't had a 1-6 yet though.
Yeah, I know. I should have stuck with 5 picks a week, right?
Well, now we got to pick more so we can catch them.
Packers-Vikings, Monday night. This line was opened up at 4 and has rocketed up. The Vikings are now huge favorites against the Packers on Monday Night Football. I don't know if you know this. Monday night played in prime time. This will feature Kirk Cousins against Aaron Rodgers in a nationally televised game. Vikings minus 5.5, over under 45.5. Pete, I haven't the faintest clue which direction you might go with this game.
You don't know? You don't know where I'm going? It's a big game. It's Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers on the other side. You're giving me 5.5. They're going to win the game outright. You're going to donate 5.5 points to me? Give me the 5.5. Look, no Cook will be a factor in this game. They can run the ball. We saw that. Boone went in and ran the ball, and he was effective. The problem is they're going to miss him in the passing game, and I think that's going to show up. I love the Green Bay Packers. They win the game outright.
I have no problems with Kirk Cousins in a big game like you do, but best bet for me is also the Packers plus 5.5. Green Bay seems overrated. We've been talking about the stats don't really match, how they've played, but in their overall record, but they have a better against the spread record than the Vikings. They're 9-5. Vikings are 8-6. So I mean, they are beating expectations on the scoreboard. Vikings, I think, are the more talented team. I just can't trust them to cover a big number. I just think it's going to be a close game between these two teams, both fighting for the division. It comes down to a field goal, so I just like the value here at plus 5.5. So if it was 4, it wouldn't be a best bet, but at 5.5, it's going to be a best bet.
The Packers are frauds. Aaron Rodgers has been worse than Kirk Cousins this year. Aaron Rodgers should not have made the Pro Bowl. Kirk Cousins should have been in instead of him. Kirk Cousins will be motivated, and he will get his first Monday night victory by 14 points in this game at home against the Minnesota Vikings. I know Dalvin, by the way, speaking of people who say they're going to play, Dalvin Cook's like, I'm practicing like I'm going to play. Like, dude, they already basically ruled you out. It's not you. It's Mike Boone and maybe Alexander Mattison.
He's hurt too, though.
Yeah, I think it'll just be a bunch of Mike Boone, and that's fine. The Packers' rush defense stinks. The Packers are good early on defense and then fall apart. On offense and then don't do anything. They're frauds.
Hey, the Vikings fans think I dislike the Vikings for some reason. I don't know why. I love the Vikings. It's one of my favorite places to go to in the summer. They are outstanding. I get to meet everybody and all the coaches and the personnel people, and I know Mike Zimmer for years. I don't know why they other than my Kirk Cousins jokes. I don't know why. I don't know why they think I don't like the Vikings. I think it's not that I dislike the Vikings. I like the Vikings. I just think the Packers are going to win this game. That's all.
You just love Aaron Rodgers.
I do.
Unconditionally.
I do. No, not unconditionally.
Well, I got the Vikings. It's a little best bet off because I got the Vikings minus 5.
Well, you got the Vikings in the Super Bowl, so you're still going to keep going with them and playing all the way through. You still think they're going to the Super Bowl?
I think they could. They'll know. Now, the interesting thing is they'll know potentially by even Saturday night if they're in the playoffs. Because if the Rams lose to the 49ers on Saturday afternoon, they'll know that they're in the playoffs. And, I think like psychologically there is a little bit of a concern that the Vikings understand to win the division, they have to beat the Packers, and the Packers have to lose to the Lions. That's also why I kind of like the Vikings here, too.
Yeah, the Packers can lose and win the next week and still win the division.
Mm-hmm. If you're the Packers,
but they're playing for seeds too, though. They're playing for a seed too, though.
Yeah, but if you're down 21, are you really trying to like gas it and come back? Maybe you pack it up and go beat the Lions and win the division. Cardinals at Seahawks. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, two of the great young quarterbacks. Seahawks minus 9.5, over under 51. Pete, what you got?
It's going over. This one's going up and down all day. And Kyler Murray actually looked good last week. He ran around. He got back running the football a little bit. And I think Seattle's going to score. Arizona's defense was better, but they're bad. There's going to be a lot of points in this game. I like the over.
Kyler Murray, one of 3 quarterbacks who can lead their teams in rushing this year. You got Lamar Jackson, obviously Kyler Murray. Who's the other one?
I know.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, the mobile Ryan Fitzpatrick.
By the way, he's the only quarterback. Murray's the only quarterback over 3,000 yards passing and 500 yards rushing. So
for now, yeah.
Not Lamar Jackson.
So it's interesting that you moved that goalpost all the way down to 500 yards to get it instead of 1,000.
Yeah, it's interesting though.
I guess.
Oh, he doesn't have 3,000 because he throws for 160 every week. Lamar Jackson, he doesn't have to throw.
Leads the league in passing touchdowns. He has 1,000 rushing yards. Get over it.
Right, but he doesn't have to throw for many yards.
Yeah, best bet Cardinals, who don't have Lamar Jackson, but Kyler Murray's been playing well. Seahawks have one game that they've won by more than 8 points. Happens to be the Cardinals games. People will say, okay, they can beat they can beat up on the Cardinals again. The stats in that game were closer than the score. It was basically an even-ish game. Seahawks had that Jadeveon Clowney pick 6, which you're not going to get very often. Arizona can struggle against great defenses. Seattle's defense is not great to me. 21st in net yards per pass attempt, 27th in yards per rush, and that's going to come into play against a Cardinals team that's running the ball well. Seattle can't keep the back door closed either. We saw it last week. Carolina rallied back to push last week, and on the closing line of -6, even though it was 30-13 at one point. Cardinals are 8-4-1 against the spread as underdogs. The push was unlucky. That was that San Fran game that turned into a Philly-Washington type push. So it should have been 9-4. I think they can keep this game close. They've scored at least 26 in 4 of their 6 road games. I'm not worried about the offense going on the road and stumbling in a tough environment in Seattle. So it probably does go over, but my better bet and my best bet is the Cardinals plus 9.5.
I lean towards the under in this game just because I think you can see the Cardinals stall out a little bit, and I think the Seahawks will have everybody back on defense, and Seattle won't be afraid to get a lead and run the clock out. And when the Cardinals get down big, they don't play hurry up to try and make some furious comeback. They just don't do it. It's very bizarre. If they keep it competitive and it's going back and forth in terms of the scoring, then it'll probably go over. So I think it's game script dependent. Maybe look at that for a live bet. Like if the Seahawks get up 21-0, I'd jump on the under because it'll be, in like the first or second quarter, it'll be escalated up to like 55 or 56, maybe even higher. You potentially get the under there. I would take Cardinals too. It's too many points. It's a lot of points. Seahawks. And the Seahawks
throw the Cardinals into the.
Throw them in.
Okay, so I'm in. Any chance the Cardinals win outright?
Yes.
You think the Cardinals win outright?
There's a chance.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said that you did.
He said any chance.
I mean, Seattle is 2-4 against the spread at home this year, and they're the second team in NFL history behind the freaking 78 Oilers to win 10 games by one score or more. They're a luck box. They're due to something, but Russell just won't let them die. It's unbelievable. Jaguars at Falcons. My Jaguars.
Your Jaguars.
Yeah,
they're not Tom Coughlin's Jaguars anymore. that's a certainty.
That was a good tweet by you. I like that.
Which one about him? Yeah.
He's a good man, good coach. Not a great GM, and doesn't like playing by anybody else's rules.
Never has. It's his rules and nobody else's rules.
Falcons -7 over under 46.5 in Atlanta.
This thing's going way over the total. And I know Jacksonville didn't go over last week, and I thought they would against the Raiders. But Atlanta can score, and they're better on defense, but they're not that good. Jacksonville's defense is bad, and they're going to play bad in this game. I think Matt Ryan's going to have a big day throwing the football. I think Minshew will have success throwing the football as well. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game on the fast track. I'll take the over.
You think the Jaguars players play better now that Coughlin's out of the building?
No.
Just kind of like pressure off?
No, I think they won a game last week, so I don't know how much better they're going to play, period. Do they care? Yeah.
My lean would be the Jaguars, and that's just because I have a stat since 2000 when two teams finish with losing records, and they play in Week 16, and we know both these teams are going to finish with losing records. The dog is 54, 26, and 4 against.
Well, that's a good stat. I like
that's
that
like
stat.
67.5% cover rate. So all these games with these garbage matchups, like I'm just defaulting to the dog unless I have a really good reason not to. And I think it's a good spot to fade a bad Falcons team coming off a huge upset win. People, everybody watched the ending of that game. It may be a good spot to play on the Jaguars after Coughlin got the boot. You said you probably don't think so, but they might take the day off. But yeah, bad defense. Jaguars can come back and get the backdoor cover if they need to. Statistically, I don't have a reason to love either team. I'm just taking the points in that stat.
Not a best bet, though.
Not a best bet, just a lean.
Yeah, I think the over is probably a pretty good call. I think Julio Jones goes absolutely ham in this game. Like he's going to be the guy that you look back on in fantasy as like won leagues for people in 2019. But I think that stat would apply to Colts-Panthers as well. If the Colts lose out,
it will. We don't know that the Colts are going to finish. They could finish 8-8 still if they win their last two. But it applies to Giants-Redskins. It applies to Denver-Detroit. I mean, there's like 5 games that it applies to this week.
If you're playing against crappy teams, take the picks. Speaking of crappy picks and teams, Pete, who are your best bets again?
There they are. You got. You know how many I got? 7. But you already told me I'm going 1-6, so I might as well just put the 1-6 up. I don't have 6 fingers on this hand. Buffalo plus 6.5. I think they win that game outright. Tampa Bay plus 3. I think they win that game outright. Jacksonville, Atlanta. That's going to be a track meet. Philadelphia wins the game outright. You're giving me points. I'll take them. Miami, Cincinnati over. Seattle, Arizona over. And Green Bay plus 5.5. And they're going to win the game outright. So how about a money line parlay? Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Philly, and Green Bay.
Ooh. Oh. I kind of like it. I'm looking at all those. I was on the opposite side of one, but just as a lean. I think Pete might go 7-0. This might be the week.
This is the week.
I like him.
14-0 over the course of the next 2 weeks. Not 12-0. 14-0 and 0-14 for Brinson, and I catch him.
Wait. So that was Buffalo, Philly, Tampa Bay, and Green Bay. Was your
put it in? What would that pay?
Pay a lot.
Say if we put. What are you going to do?
This is odd. I don't know why, but the Bucs-Texans game is off the board.
What?
That's weird.
Did they just make an announcement? I looked at their injury report before we came on, and there was no weird.
Nothing major, yeah.
I think Jameis was listed as questionable, but he had a full practice. So
I'm not looking on my site because I wouldn't have the. I'm just checked.
So you can't put the money. You can't put the money. You can't make the parlay. You can.
I can't with Tampa Bay, but what's Tampa Bay's +3 at home? Yeah. I can use it. I'll use the Titans as a comparison.
Okay.
And then Green Bay's on Monday night. That's plus. This is a juicy parlay. Let's see.
All right. And then you can come and take
$100. It's 40, almost 42 to 1.
Yeah. So if you
put $100 on it, you'd win.
When you win 4,200. Yeah.
You get to hedge that Monday nighter.
You get 4,200 on it. Yeah.
If you hit the first 3, hedge the Monday nighter. Put some of it.
Love that money line. Love that money line parlay.
If you get the first 2, you could hedge on the Cowboys. And then if you get the what I'm saying, like buy out the first
3. If you get the first 3 and you go to Monday night,
it's just kind of hard when you don't know when those games are going to start and hedging multiple games. But you get that last one.
Yeah,
one game's on Saturday.
You got a free roll for what, 5.5 points, right?
You guys are missing. 2 of the games are on Saturday.
Right.
So if you get the 2,
I don't like hedging multiple games.
Yeah, why would you hedge multiple games? You get to the third, you win the third game, and then you hedge the fourth game.
But I'm saying, let's say you put $100 on it.
So
and you get the first 2, and then you bet $50 on the Cowboys money line. If it's like a pick 'em, you're at least you're gonna hedge out of it a little bit. And so then you would still, let's say the Eagles win, you're down $50, but you go into the Vikings game, and if the Packers win, you get $4,000.
Right.
And you can hedge a little bit there too.
You're always so quick to hedge. It's called gambling.
Yeah, you're a hedger. You need to trim the hedges that are inside of that shirt over there. That's what you need to trim.
If you stand to win, like a life-changing amount of money, go ahead and hedge. But if it's not a life-changing amount of money, just let it ride.
Right.
I'm the one. You guys are the ones who said hedge on Monday night. And
so what would you do? Well, okay, Brinson, what would you do if you won the first 3? Say you put $100 on it. You won the first 3. What would you hedge on Monday night? Just so I'm curious. Me and RJ can't. Why would you let it ride?
On Monday night, I wouldn't hedge on Monday night because you have the Packers. So you have to lay minus 235. Because you can't take the.
Yeah, I say hedge the 235 and just make your money back. So either you're even or you make 40 to 1.
So you would put
put down 235 to win.
They would put 235 to win your 100.
I would only hedge to get my money.
Get the $100 back. Yeah,
that's
so 235 to win 100.
So I'm guaranteed.
And then you're guaranteed to win $4,000.
Well, I'm guaranteed to either
if you win.
It's like a $4,000 free roll.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And all you need is Aaron Rodgers not to lose to Kirk Cousins on Monday night. Sounds like a pretty good $4,000 free roll. You just sit back and
if history tells you anything, you're going to be partying with your 4 Gs.
All right, so everybody go take Pete's parlay unless Jameis Winston is out. Then don't touch it. All right, Pete. Hope you feel better.
What's our parlay, by the way?
Oh, we only have 2 teams. The under on the Bills-Patriots and the Cardinals +9.5.
Throw the Jaguars-Falcons over in. I know both of you guys like that.
I'm down. Yeah, I like that too. All right, Jags.
All right, there's our 3-team loser parlay for the week.
1 and 2.
Go the other way.
As Debo notes in my ear, maybe just go with 2 until you get another parlay.
Look at it. He's trying to get us to get. We had one 3-team winner, right? Way back in November.
I think we're down like 3 units on the year. So because we hit one of them, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not impressive.
No, it's not.
All right, Pete. Have a great weekend. Enjoy Hey, hold on. I'm not done with you. Feel better. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Same to you, Will Brinson.
Don't work too hard.
Oh, I'll see you on Sunday. Aren't you working Sunday and Saturday? We both are, so we'll see you then.
All right, buddy. All right, welcome back. Pete Prisco. The sick Pete Prisco has left us. I'm not buying RJ that he's actually sick. Looked fine to me.
I'm starting to get a little cough, a little tickle in my throat.
I'm a little sick here.
His germs have infected this room.
Maybe he's not sick. He's trying to take us all down. Like this is his only way he feels like he can win the Picks Pod is by just killing us all with some sort of outbreak style attack.
I was going to make a joke that he'd been faking like he was sick all day to try to get out early and go see Star Wars, but nobody was buying it.
I can say this because Pete's not on. He won't listen to the show later, but third listener, Pete doesn't listen or watch anything he does. He just does it, moves on. But Pete was like, Devo was like, yeah, Pete says he needs to be done at 5:30. Like at 5:10, he walks in and sits down. It's like, what are you trying to do, buddy? Like 20 minutes? All right, let's get to the rest of the games here. Got a lot of them. Man, a lot of games. Ravens at the Browns. Ravens -10 in Cleveland. The over-under 48.5. Sort of a sneaky over-under. The Ravens are hard to cap, I think, these days because they score a ton of points. And they're not afraid to blow anybody out. But this feels like too many points and yet not enough. I don't know where to go on this one.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere on the spread either. It's the Ravens. It's too many points, but they've been like 3 points higher than they should be the last few weeks, and it doesn't really matter. They just keep covering. So I went against them last week with the Jets game. I just figured it was a lower total, and once it gets to a certain point between the spread and the total, I just take the underdog, and it turns out the spread was what was wrong because it went up to 63 points scored in that game or whatever it was. So I think Ravens should cover most of this total themselves, so I would lean to the over 48.5 in this game. Cleveland D gave up 886 yards to Cincy and Arizona. This is a much different beast. The Cleveland offense lit up Baltimore D in their first meeting. Defense is obviously different now. It's playing much better, healthier, and they got Marcus Peters, so I don't think it's going to be another 40-point Browns performance or anything, but I just can't lay 10 on the road. I can't play Freddie Kitchens against the best team in the league right now, so I'm just going to avoid the spread and lean to the over 48.5.
Yeah, I like that. The reason they won, the only thing about it, and the reason I would take Cleveland here, and I wouldn't bet it, but if I'm doing a pick'ems pool, I'm taking Cleveland. If it's late in the year, it's sort of, look, you should make your picks wherever you are, but I'm trying to make up a little bit of ground on some of the leaders. I'm 10 back or 8 back of the lead. I think most people will take the Ravens in this spot because nobody wants to fade Lamar Jackson. I don't blame him. He's destroying people. The Ravens are crushing. I'll take the Browns because it's a divisional game. It's double-digit points. They did play him well early in the year, and they didn't need Baker to have a great game to beat him. Nick Chubb is just awesome, and he's running really well. He made the Pro Bowl. One of 4 guys. I mentioned Joe Mixon with 700 yards from scrimmage. He's also in that group since week 10, and I think it could be a shootout. I think the total implies an expectation that the Browns can hang with them offensively. I also think maybe I don't know. I don't think Baltimore's going to lay it all on the line here for whatever reason. And maybe, I don't know. I think Browns just keep it within 10 points. So I will take the Browns there as well. Chiefs -6.5 at the Bears, over under 45. Sunday night football game between Andy Reid and his old friend Matt Nagy. This line has been climbing, was I think 4.5 or 5, got up to 6.5, maybe at the Westgate. It's down at 6, sort of settled in right now. Under's dropping a bit. How do you see this game playing out? Do you think the Chiefs will go in there and just blow their doors off? Because they could if they wanted to.
Yeah, it's 6 everywhere right now. Westgate on Wednesday night for the contest put out 6.5 because I think they envision it's going to keep climbing. So this is more of a prediction of where it's going to be than it is what the actual line is right now. I can't lay 6.5 on the road versus a good defense. As good as since the Chiefs are playing, I'm just not going to do that against this Bears defense. But I can't take the Bears either. They've been awful against the spread, and the Chiefs are a much better team. The Chiefs defense has been excellent the last 3 since the bye. The Bears offense has improved, but I still don't think they're great. So I would lean under 45 here. But again, it's not a strong play for me. It's just a lean because I love how the Chiefs are playing right now. But tough road spot, I'm going to stay away and figure, if anything, it might go a little bit under the total.
Yeah, we saw the Chiefs go. I like the under call, by the way. We saw the Chiefs go over the total against the Raiders, who have a bad defense in general. And it didn't really feel like the Chiefs were trying to hang 40. They just sort of couldn't stop themselves from scoring 40 in that spot. And, since the bye, and even including the week before against the Chargers, 41, 49, 39, 26. Now, granted, that 26 is against Drew Lock, a rookie quarterback, in a snowstorm, but the Chiefs are just not scoring a ton of points right now. And they're not allowing a ton of points, and they're not the last 2 games against decent defenses, which the Bears are. They're not trying to lob up a ton. They're perfectly content to score in the mid-20s if they need to, and to let their defense do the dirty work. I mean, it's only allowed 28 points since the bye. That's ridiculous. It's Tom Brady, Drew Lock, and Derek Carr. Now, maybe those 3 quarterbacks aren't any good anymore, or aren't good in general, but I like the under as well. I would take the Chiefs if I had to, because I think 6, I could just see them being up 20 points and Mitchell Trubisky being unable to come back and cover that. Steelers -3 at the Jets, over under 37.5.
My best bet's the under 37.5. We got on the other side of that key 37 number, so I'm fine putting this in as a best bet. These two offenses are bottom 3 in DVOA, and one of the defenses, the Steelers, is a top 3 DVOA defense. So there's not going to be many points here. It's going to be like that Pittsburgh-Buffalo game we saw where it was 17-10. It's going to be a similar game here, I think. The under is 11-3 in Steelers games, including their last 6 went under. The Jets had 3 straight under games before the Ravens and beat them up and scored a million points on them. The Jets D is number 1 in yards per rusher allowed, and I can't see Duck Hodges doing much in the passing game, even against a bad Jets secondary. So, and it looks like they're getting healthier. I believe there was only 2 DNPs for injury on the injury report as of Thursday, and a lot of other people were limited. Jamal Adams and several cornerbacks, and all 3 top defensive linemen are all limited. So limited on Thursday generally means you're going to play. So if they get healthy in this game, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Pittsburgh D hasn't given up 300 yards in 5 straight or more than 17 points in 4 straight. It's going to be a similar game here. I would lean to them to cover like that. I would, like I said, I liken it to the Steelers-Bills game, except this is the Steelers winning 17-10 instead of losing 17-10 here.
Yeah, I like that under as well. I think I would take the Jets if I'm picking. I would assume that even though Pittsburgh lost last week, people still have that stench of the Ravens game in their mind. They will probably lean towards Pittsburgh as the playoff team against a bad team. And so again, I think you can be a little contrarian here. Take the home dog, catching 3 points against Duck Hodges. And like the Steelers shouldn't be able to run the ball. I would anticipate that they'll try to throw. I don't know they'll do a great job of it. And then with Le'Veon Bell, a little Le'Veon Bell revenge game. And Jamison Crowder, you can kind of eat up underneath. I like the under too. These teams stink, dude. I mean, are we sure should the Steelers be in the playoffs? Do we want the Steelers in the playoffs?
They're doing their best to earn it. It's very impressive what they've done after losing their top quarterback and then having other key players injured throughout the year. So, if they can win these games, I would say they definitely deserve it. I'm not excited to watch them in the playoffs. I don't think they're a very exciting team with whoever's playing quarterback in this instance. But, I'd much rather watch the Titans. They've been the better team, and if they would have started Tannehill the whole year, maybe they'd be in the playoffs at this point, and the Steelers would be out. But you got to give it to the Steelers with how they're playing right now.
Yeah, all right. Give me the Titans. I want Tannehill, A.J. Brown in the playoffs, not the Steelers. Give that talent, Steelers. Actually, no, I want the Steelers. Then I can brag that my Super Bowl prediction would have been close to coming true if Ben Roethlisberger had stayed healthy.
What's the line if it's Steelers at Chiefs in Wild Card Weekend and say the Patriots stay in the 2 seed? What's the line of Steelers at Chiefs? Is it 10? Is it more?
Maybe. Maybe.
I mean, it's going to be pretty high. Nobody's going to take the Steelers.
What's the over-under will be like, if it's decent weather, it could be like 45. Right. That's a great under.
Right. But I just don't see anybody taking. You're going to have to get double digits to take the Steelers. So it's got to be at least 10.
And I don't want double digits taking the Steelers. Remember when the Steelers played the Dolphins and the Dolphins had Matt Moore and the Steelers beat him by like 40? That's this game. Saints -3 at Titans. Over under 50.5. I'm with you here. I don't know. I didn't have him as a best bet. I think a Titans-Jets moneyline parlay is kind of spicy. I don't know who else you throw in there, but I like the Titans as well. Getting 3 at home, obvious letdown spot for Drew Brees, right?
Yeah, so we look at this Houston-Tennessee result last week, and like I said, it was kind of fraudulent. Tennessee played a good game. They had that deflection interception, which you can't do anything about. They could have won that game. And if they win the game, what's the spread in this game? Does it even move off the look-ahead line of Pick'em? I'm not sure it does, because the Titans would have come into this game as probably the hottest team in the league. So I think even with the special teams errors too, they get that ironed out with Sakupko's on IR, and they have a new kicker in there. Tennessee still managed 432 yards of offense in that Houston game. It's the 5th time in 8 Tannehill games they've been over 400 plus. Very impressive what they're doing. And then you look at New Orleans. Great game, coming off a huge win. Stock couldn't be any higher when Breeze goes 29 for 30 and setting records left and right. So nobody's going to want to bet against the Saints in this game. That's why it's -3, and Titans are going to be a great value. New Orleans is 4-12-1 against the spread outdoors in December or January since 2007, which was Breeze's second year. This isn't a team that can come down the stretch and play well outdoors and get credit for how well they've been playing the first 3 months of the season, because they're always a good team with Drew Brees. So I think you want to fade them in this spot. Titans are still a hot team, even if they didn't get the win last week. They're going to win this game. I agree with that. Take the money line, take +3.
Yeah. That game against Houston could have gone. Houston could have blown them out by even more, but like the Titans could have gotten up. The thing with the Titans is if they get up on you, And I think they can score. I think they should be more aggressive early against the Saints here. Try to throw down the field, get A.J. Brown involved, use your passing game early to try and set up the run, because with no Sheldon Rankins and no Marcus Davenport, you can pound Derrick Henry. Little worried he's on the injury report, but I think they will be fine. Saints need this game, by the way, for try and get home field advantage.
Titans need the game, too, to get in the playoffs.
That's Titans need more. You're right. Giants at Redskins. The Redskins -2.5, over under 42. Over under 12 minutes that you'll watch this game on Sunday.
On Sunday, under. It'll be on one of the TVs here at work, and I'll keep an eye out, but I'm not going to be watching it closely unless I put the Giants on my Super Contest card, which I probably won't. But Giants is going to be my lean at +2.5. I mentioned the stat earlier, 54, 26, and 4 against spread. In this situation with two bad teams playing each other, just take the points. I don't love backing Daniel Jones coming off his injury, so I'm just playing that trend, really. Washington's committed to the run game. Giants, that's what they do, is they stop the run, 5th in yards per attempt allowed. So you're going to have to throw on them to beat them. Haskins showed last week he can do that. He was able to throw on the Eagles and their bad secondary. Is he going to regress a little bit, or is he going to have a second good game in a row? I would tend to think the former is more likely than the latter. So I just see a little bit of regression coming there. Maybe his passes are sailing. It's not completely on the money like some of those passes were, and Giants can go ahead and go into Washington where they don't have a good home field advantage and win this game.
I like the Redskins a lot here. Not enough to make him a best bet or anything like that. But I do like him a lot because I think the Giants are terrible at stopping opposing quarterbacks. And I know like Dwayne Haskins' mechanics and his footwork aren't perfect back there, but he's a raw rookie quarterback. He's what we expected. He and Terry McLaurin are cooking with gas right now. And I think that's going to continue into this game. And I think we'll see Dwayne Haskins take a couple shots down the field. I will be playing Terry McLaurin aggressively in DFS, as I have been in every decent matchup they have. And when they play he had a great game. I think 2 touchdowns, 100+ yards in week 1 against the Eagles. They're not playing the Eagles, so I don't know why that matters. I don't know what happened. That's why I liked him last week. Anyway, Terry McLaurin is a very good wide receiver. He said blacking out. And I think that Dwayne Haskins and Scary Terry will hook up a couple of times. And I just think the Giants will be sort of like a letdown spot if they gave it everything for Eli Manning, come back, Daniel Jones, maybe fumbles early, don't have the same motivation. The season's wrapping up. Pat Shurmur's out the door. Emotional game last week. I will take the Redskins. Lions at Broncos. Broncos this game. I mean, what in the hell? How do you pick that? Lions at Broncos are -7. How are the Broncos laying 7? Exactly. I mean, in a 30.5 over-under game.
Yeah, 2 bad teams. Week 16, take the points. Take the Lions. I don't love David Blau. Don't love what I'm seeing from Detroit. So I don't have any matchup, situations really. They're getting a little healthier on defense though, and Denver's O-line's really banged up. I think Juwan James has already been ruled out, and there's at least 2 other guys that are questionable or missing practice or limited, whatever. Broncos D's been the strength of the team. They've allowed 400+ yards in 3 of their last 4, so they're not playing that well. Now they've had some tough matchups, but if you have a great defense, you're going to limit people to at least somewhat, maybe 300, 350 yards. But they're able to move it on this team. Drew Lock can move it on Detroit, so it's probably going to have to be a backdoor cover for us to hit the Detroit +7, but I'm just going to take the points and be happy following that trend right now.
Yeah, I can't. Look, I mean, like Drew Lock was awesome in that one game and he was awesome early on against the Chargers and awesome against Houston. But I mean, like, I can't. I mean, how the hell do they let him throw 40 times against Kansas City in a snowstorm? It is irresponsible, Denver. And I just can't. I can't have Drew Lock laying 7 points. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like Denver just can't be laying 7 points. People will want to fade the Lions, and that's fine. They're terrible, but I will take them in the 7 points because it's just too many points. That's literally all I've got for analysis of this game. It's too many points. Raiders at the Chargers, also a 7-point game. Not too many points for me. Over under 45. I know the Chargers got sandblasted by the Vikings, but that game was a lot closer than people thought. Based on the final score, a strip sack of Phillip Rivers at halftime led to a Vikings touchdown that completely flipped the game, sucked all the life out of the Chargers, and I think they'll try and bounce back for a nice December game. They need to save Anthony Lynn's job if they want to. Phillip Rivers is trying to play for a contract, and when you look at this Raiders team, RJ, I mean that has to go down as one of the most heartbreaking ways to lose a football game in NFL history. It's the last game in Oakland. You have a big lead. Derek Carr is celebrating a 12-yard run to get a first down as the clock is supposed to go towards a 2-minute warning. The ref stopped the clock, because he slid in bounds and gave himself up. The Raiders missed 2 field goals. They missed the first one, then they get a running of the kicker, miss another one. Then the Jaguars go down and score a touchdown to take the lead in Oakland. Again, the last game ever played in Oakland by the Raiders. And then the Raiders go all the way down and get close for a Hail Mary, and it bounces off the guy's face. And then they get booed out of the gym. I don't know how you pick yourself off the mat and go play even a bad Chargers team who can put up numbers pretty easily.
Yeah, the only thing that would lean me to the Raiders is that same trend I keep bringing up because both these teams are going to finish with losing records. So I do want to like Oakland here, but that is such a deflating loss, plus their injuries mean that I can't do that side either. So I'm going to stay away from the spread in this game. I would lean to the under. Chargers are typically an under team at home. 4 of the last 5 Oakland games have also gone under as that offense has kind of crept back to the pack where we thought it would be, and we didn't think it was going to be a very good offense. Raiders are going to be missing their heart of their offense, Josh Jacobs, who's already been ruled out that he's going to be out of this game. So you get Washington and Richard as your duo. That's not going to make up the difference. The offensive line is also extremely banged up. Trent Brown went on IR. I think they're going to struggle to score in this game already. Chargers, we've seen that their offense can shoot itself in the foot multiple times at any given time. So even though the Oakland defense is 31st in DVOA, and you would think the Chargers get the cover, I think the under is the better play, but I'm just going to make it a lean.
Okay. Yeah, I like the under as well. That's a good call. But I would go Chargers as one of my best bets. Last game. Panthers at Colts. Another 7-point game. Another bad team laying 7. The Colts are -7 at home, over under 46. Look, I get what happened with the Colts. Man, this is a weird game because Panthers are terrible and they have given up. And they have lost a lot of games in a row. They're ruining a lot of futures for me. And they're going to start Will Grier, who's a rookie quarterback, and we don't know really anything about him. And this, so like the Colts -7 after seeing what we saw on Monday night, what do you think the perception here over under 46? Like, don't you think that's a weird perception that the Colts will be favored by 7 points in this game?
Yeah, and it's just how bad the Panthers are playing. But again, could be too bad. Could be 2 teams that finish under 500. Maybe you go with the Panthers just because of that. I'm probably not playing the spread at all again. I don't trust Will Grier, but the Colts aren't playing well either. I wouldn't make them 7-point favorites against anyone the way they've been playing. So they'll probably win this game, but it might be 3 or 4 instead of 7. So maybe that's why you lean to the Panthers. So I probably go over the 46 is probably my thing. Panthers D's been awful. Big reason they're over is 10-4 in Carolina games. It's hit in the last 4. Colts can run all over the Panthers, but the Colts D isn't playing well right now. And they've had some guys on the injury report as well. I believe they have 5 guys on the injury report, and they're all defensive guys. So defensive guys are also hurt for the Panthers. So give me the over, but it's not going to be a best bet. It's just going to be a lean on the 46.
I kind of like that over too. The Panthers, what I don't know if like people haven't been watching many Panthers games. I use a HD antenna on my third TV, so like I always have Panther. Like I'll have 2 games I pick for each TV, 3 TVs that I use, and I'll use the master the flying around with the remotes, trying to flick back and forth during commercials. So I catch a lot of Panthers games locally. They, for whatever reason, are capable of throwing up a ton of points in the second half. And I think it's probably because they're losing and teams sort of ease up on the defense and play prevent, and Carolina just kind of wings it around. I think that could be the same with Will Grier. That's why I would probably take the Panthers plus the 7 here. I just think it's too many points given how bad the Colts are. And I'm with you. The over under 46 is really high for 2 bad teams, but both these defenses stink. The Colts don't do anything exotic, so Grier should be able to throw to spots and zones. I think the Turners will be smart enough to set up Curtis Samuel in short yardage, use Christian McCaffrey plenty. Marlon Mack should have a big day here. I love him and Leonard Fournette as a combo in DFS. And I would lean over here, but I would lean Panthers as well. All right. Pete Prisco's best bets. Let's wrap this thing up. Pete Prisco's best bets: Buffalo plus 6.5, Tampa Bay plus 3, Jacksonville, Atlanta over 46.5, Philly plus 2.5, Miami, Cincinnati over 47, Seattle, Arizona over 51, Green Bay plus 5.5, and Pete advises you put a small little nugget on Buffalo, Philly, Tampa Bay, Green Bay money line parlay. Pays out 42-1. How about your best bets, RJ?
I have 3 of the same that Pete does, including Tampa plus 3.5 against Houston, Buffalo plus 6.5 at New England, and Green Bay plus 5.5 at Minnesota. I also like the Buffalo, New England under 37, the Pittsburgh Jets under 37.5 as well, both of those 37.5. Titans plus 3 against New Orleans. They're going to go ahead and win that game. So if you want to throw them in a money line parlay, do that too. Bengals plus 1 at Miami, and Arizona Cardinals plus 5.5 at Seattle. I think it's going to be a close game.
Okay, my best bets are the Buffalo, short card for me. Buffalo, New England under 37.5, Chargers -7, Bengals +1, the Philadelphia Eagles +2.5, and the Minnesota Vikings -9.5. I feel like there was something else I liked.
I think it was the weather game on Houston, right?
Yeah. Should I do? Is that enough? Is 5 enough? Should I throw one more in there?
5 is fine. 5 is like a good baseline.
Okay. Are you throwing more to try and catch up, or are you just doing your best bets either way?
I wanted to put in even more. There was a lot of things I like, but it turned out like they were all underdogs. I don't think all underdogs are going to cover this week, but there's like 10 of them I like. So I had to kind of cut myself off at one point and just go with a few unders. And then at the last minute, I think you saw in the email I threw in, I just throw Buffalo in there too. I don't know why I didn't include them, because I just threw one extra one in there.
It was interesting. If I said Minnesota -9.5, I meant Minnesota -5.5. That may have been an enunciation thing. Apologies. A lot of these games are divisional games with high over-unders. There's sort of a chance don't you think there's a chance this week to maybe play some of those unders based on like those games?
Divisional games late in the season, you kind of want to be looking at the under anyway. Nobody wants to make a mistake. It's not, the game doesn't get very wide open. These two teams, when they play, know each other a lot. So yeah, I would look to the unders more often than not. Okay.
Reminder, you can check out our Facebook group, facebook.com, and search for Pick Six Podcast and join there. We've got a no Thursday night show to listen to because there's no Thursday night. We will have emergency podcast throughout the holidays. Got a Christmas mailbag coming, but we still accept questions. And of course, we will recap all of Week 16 on Sunday night. Oh, you know what? I even read it wrong, RJ. We're going to recap the Saturday games, the 3 Saturday games on Saturday night. So if you're listening, tune in. We'll have a Sunday morning podcast ready for you that you can listen to. And then we'll have a recap of Sunday as well. And then, we'll do some bunch of stuff for Christmas week. RJ, always fun, buddy.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.